Hello, everybody. How is everybody doing? Oh, wait, did I click record? Yes, I did. So in this video, I am going to be talking to you guys about a proper study plan. So I don't know how long the video is going to be. I'll try to keep it short, but then there's a lot to talk about. I was going to just simply write out a template on how to study and what to study, but I started to do the template and it didn't make a lot of sense because you would still have to go into the membership login area to find the files. So I thought that it would be easier to show all of you from the membership login area instead. Because a lot of you are taking the board exam in May, and even if you're not, the study plan that I'll come up with will be for about a month and a half. So a month and a half before you take the board exam, these are the things that I want everybody to go over. As you know, there's a lot in the membership login area, and I do that on purpose because if you signed up for the course and I had 2 or 3 files in there, you would say, okay, the textbook is this big. 2 or 3 files isn't going to cut it, right? So you want to learn everything. But in the membership login area, I do only point out the key points you have to know. But then there's also students who still say, well, I want to learn a little bit more because I don't quite understand oral pathology. So could you upload another file that explains it in a different way? So that's why there's so much in there. But I do know that it's quite easy to get overwhelmed, especially for a new member. They log in. They're excited that there's so much in there because they think, yay, I got my money's worth. But then they say, oh my God, where do I start? Makes perfect sense, so I'm here to help. So let me share my screen here, everybody. As always, I like to share my screen. So can everybody see me and my screen okay? I hope so. So I have logged in into the membership login area for dental hygiene students, okay, or the Dentalelle student member. So this is not for dental assisting. The dental assisting will be in a different video because you don't have to know nearly as much. You have to know a lot, but not the same things, of course, as a dental hygiene student. So this is the membership login area as soon as you log in. So what I always say, okay, and this is true if you have a month to study, 6 months, a year, whatever. As a new member, first log into the recorded sessions of 2017 right here. So click on that. Now, these are all of the sessions that I have every other Sunday. So I usually have sessions twice a month. Sometimes it's, one Sunday and then it's the next Sunday afterwards. But it depends on holidays because I don't want to have a session over the Easter holiday because people want to spend time with their families, right? So if I hold a session, then nobody will show up, and then what's the point? So sometimes it is a Sunday and then it's the next Sunday, but I do try to do it every other Sunday. So these sessions here are about 1 hour long. So I'm not saying as soon as you sign up, watch, let's say, the first video, this one is special needs, click that, watch the whole thing, and then that's it. So I'm not saying that. So what I'm saying is, look at your schedule, okay? Look at how much time you have. If you work full-time and you only have time to study on the weekends, then you will have to be studying all weekend, 6 hours a day maximum. And I always say to mix it up. So let's say you only have time to study on the weekends. Take your Saturday morning and listen to a recorded session while you're doing laundry, while you're cleaning the kitchen, while you're eating, try to do something else because you can listen and learn and do something else at the same time. But so let's say a session is about 1 hour. Then take a break and then study from my notes for 1 hour or 2 hours or whatever. And then that evening again, watch another lesson. So always mix it up. The lessons are excellent because I do a lecture and questions also. So let's just say you are watching the special needs session, I do ask questions. If you're having a hard time answering the questions, then that means that you have to go back to the PowerPoints and the mock exams on special needs. And I do have them right here for you. So it's easy. Then let's say you want to mix it up and do something different and start with the sessions on the bottom. So let's say you want to do the unmet human needs session. You click that, listen to that. It says it's an hour and 10 minutes. And then let's say you're saying, okay, I kind of need more clarification on the unmet human needs. The PowerPoint is right here. So click on that. I will show you what it looks like. It's just taking a second to download here. Let's see. Oh, whoops. So you can't see that right now. So let me just share my screen again. Where's my PowerPoint? Can everybody see my screen okay now? So this one says unmet human needs, and there's 53 slides. So after you watch the video, mix it up by reading everything here. Read and study. So then after you're done watching the video and looking through the notes, you should feel confident in the unmet human needs. If you have questions, send me a message. If you say, you know, Andrea, could you explain this chart for me a little bit in a different way because I don't understand it? That's okay. Send me any questions you have. But at the same time, make sure to attend our sessions on Sundays because not everybody's there. And those students that aren't there typically ask me the most questions. And it would help if you would attend the sessions on Sundays because then I can answer your questions at that time because trust me, other students have the same questions. So please make sure to attend the sessions on Sunday. They do help. So let me go back to my other screen here. I got a couple things open. Here we go. There we go. Share my screen. Okay, so you know what? Like this is a good place to start. So if you're a new member or if you're thinking, okay, I have a month left to study, I don't feel like reading anymore, listen to the lectures because it's like me teaching you in person without you having to give me your full attention. You can be cleaning, you can be eating, you can be even taking the dog for a walk and listening. You could be in the car listening. So study, study, study all the time. Let's see. So next page here. So after that, now I say things depending on the student. If you have a couple weeks left to study, then I say look through the mock exam packages. And I say this because let's say you go through your anesthetic mock exam package here. So I'll just click on that to show you. So go through the questions, answer them to the best of your ability, pretend it is the board exam. So let's say the first question, if you're like, okay, the two types of neurons are, oh, okay, well, that's an easy one, and that's no problem. But then let's say you go to the second question and go, oh my God, I have no idea what that is. Okay, well, that's okay to not know something. Go to the third question, and then the fourth, and then the fifth. But if there are more than 6 questions that you're like, I had no idea what that was, that's telling you that you need to go back to that topic. So your local anesthetic topic. So you would click back, look down to your local anesthetic here, and then study all of these here. Because if you're trying to do the mock exam package and you're like, I don't know these questions, that's okay, but that's telling you that you need to study that topic more because the mock exam packages are there to test your knowledge. I always tell students, don't do them before you haven't had a chance to study because if you do them first, you're thinking, oh my God, like I know nothing. Well, you haven't had a chance to really study yet. So study first, you know. Let's say you had signed into the membership login area and you're saying, oh my God, there's so many topics here. Where do I start? Just pick one. Pick anesthetic. Click on that. Study all of these PowerPoints here. I have 2 mock exam packages, so study those afterwards. So let's say, and I'm showing you some videos also. So let's say you are taking the board exam in May and you want to, do some serious studying now. Just pick a topic. Any topic. You don't have to go in order of where they are in the membership login area if you don't want to, but just pick one topic every single day and study that every single day. It depends on how quick or how slow you study. A small area like anesthetic, you should be able to do all of this in one day, so 6 hours. A day for learning how to study isn't 24 hours, it's 6 hours. So I say this because when I tell some students to take the full day to study anesthetic, they think that that's from 5 in the morning till 10 at night. No, 6 hours maximum, because if you're studying more than 6 hours, you will be exhausted. You will be so tired that anything you study, it's like in and out. You're listening, you're reading, but then you're like, okay, I spent 4 hours studying anesthetic, but I couldn't even tell you what I learned. So if you are studying too much, that does happen. So I find that 6 hours a day is plenty, and that's perfect. That's more than enough. If you're studying 2 hours a day, that's not enough. Okay, it's not. But if you only have 2 hours a day to study, because let's just say you work full time, hopefully you at least have 1 or 2 days off. If you don't, you need to take them off. Yes, I know you're losing money, but do whatever you can, because you don't want to take the board exam unprepared and then have to spend more money and do it again. That's what happens. But you need to do the work, and you need to study, and you need to come to the sessions on Sundays. So as I was saying, so let's say you are looking at a topic. This is a short one here. So you should be able to watch these videos and look at all of the PowerPoints. There's 1, 2, 3 here, because these ones are the mock exam packages. So look at the PowerPoints first. I have the anesthetic one here, the injection techniques, and the injection sites. When you say, okay, I can't read anymore, listen to a video. Easy. So let's say you were studying from the anesthetic file here, and you did the whole thing. And then you say, okay, I'm going to have some lunch, but I can't read for a little bit. Listen to the anesthetic and nerves session. Click on that. It's 1 hour and 3 minutes. And listen. That's it. So it's so much easier. And then after you listen to that, read another PowerPoint. And then, have some dinner, go for a walk, whatever. And then read the last one. And then after those 6 hours, do the mock exam package, because you should be able to answer those questions. If you have trouble, that's okay, but that means you do have to restudy this topic once again, okay, or twice or 3 times. For me as a student, I would typically have to read a PowerPoint 3 times, 3 or 4 times, before I could understand it. So if it was me as a student, I would look at read these PowerPoints each about 3 times before I would even attempt a mock exam package, because I know for me that if I tried to do the mock exam package too soon, I wouldn't know any of the answers, and then I would be annoyed at myself and say, I didn't learn anything. I spent 6 hours studying, yet how do I only know like 10 out of the 40 questions? Like, how is this possible? It is hard. It takes time to learn. Practice makes perfect, but that's why I say to, you know, read a topic, the whole thing, and then read another topic tomorrow, the whole thing, and then you could come back to anesthetic the day after that, read it all again, and then as you are reading it through the second time, you will say, oh, it's starting to click in. And every time you read a PowerPoint the second, third, or the fourth time, it's a lot easier. It may have took you, you know, let's just say 6 hours to read through and study all of these PowerPoints initially. But then the next time you do it, you're 2 hours quicker. And then the next time you do it again, you say, oh, well, I read all of these PowerPoints in 2 hours. That means that some of that information that you are reading is now in here. So even if you don't know it, it is in here. And then as soon as you go to do the mock exam packages, you go, I know this one, I know this one, I know this one. This is awesome. So it does help to study, study, study. Now, if you needed more of a, I guess, clearer direction, then do one at a time. You know, as soon as you start, say, okay, well, I will start on topic number 1. This is a larger one for sure because we're talking about x-rays. So this might take you more than a day. I'm thinking 2, but at the same time, x-rays you have been learning about since semester 1. So they're probably a lot easier for you to understand. You may not have to watch the videos necessarily because you've all taken x-rays. You know how they're taken. You should know at this point what happens if you don't take them properly. But the part you probably have to study is the history of x-ray taking, because that is on the board exam. So this may look like a lot to you, but all of these videos, do you have to study necessarily? No, these are there for you if you're saying, hey, in school, my x-rays were horrible. I kind of need help taking them, so maybe I'll watch this video first since it says tips and tricks for x-rays, you know. But you don't have to go through all of the videos if you don't want to. It's more for those students who say, I prefer to look at the videos first and then read after that. So it's totally up to you. But as an example, so I do have a file here, so I'll click on that. So I want you all to read through the whole thing because this is the history. They love asking about the history. I know I had a session on this not too long ago. Actually, it could have been late 2016. So even as you're looking through this, look in the previously recorded lectures, listen to that first, and then you could always read this after and then go, oh, okay, now I'm starting to understand, because this is a very important PowerPoint, by the way. This will be on the board exam, a lot of it. It's 98 slides. So yes, that's a lot, but that's something you have to study. And then let's look at the next one here. This might be the same PowerPoint, actually. I'll just click on a few because it takes a second to upload. And I'm not sharing my screen for a second because I'm just double checking which one this is. Oh, okay, perfect. So I did click on another file, and this one is just all asking questions. So it's 49 slides of questions, which is awesome. So clearly I like to mix it up, right? Because that helps the most. So I'll just stop sharing my screen for a second and move up to the other link here. Where is that? Okay, perfect. So even though you are looking in the membership login area, if it seems like a lot, it's not a lot. You just have to click on it, click on like everything here, and then study the parts you want to study. For x-rays though, like that's a perfect example because you should know things for the most part. You probably do have to restudy the history, but then let's say you're thinking, oh, well, I will look at the processing errors. So click on that. This is a lot easier to study because I do show images and then what happened. So I like to mix it up, right? So yeah, so there's that. And this shouldn't take you a long time. Again, it looks like a lot, but a lot of this stuff, you should read through it and then go, oh, okay, it makes sense. But that's another reason why I tell students to sign up as soon as possible, because the sooner you sign up, the more time you have to look through all of this stuff. If you sign up a month before the exam, there's still time, but you do have to hustle. Like, you will have to read probably this in 4 hours, and then you should be moving on to another topic here. But at the same time though too, like if you have a month to take the board exam, you should know a lot of your stuff already. So reading through all of this should be more of a showing you the stuff you know, and then the stuff you may have to restudy a little bit. So that's why I do tell students to sign up early and then to take your time, because this is another good example. If you click on the next unit, practice and theory, you can all see there's a ton of stuff here, a ton of stuff. So there's a lot of PowerPoints on different topics on practice and theory. There's a video on charting, but more importantly, I think I did practice and theory a session in 2016. So always look through, whoops, let me just enter in my password here. So always look through these first, so you also know sort of which topics we have already talked about, because as you can see, there's a ton here. So there's a charting, there's a dental office procedures, instruments, and these ones we saw in our practice and theory unit. So let's say you were saying to yourself, well, I will read the instrument PowerPoints first, and then I'll go back to the 2016 session recordings and look at the instrumentation video, and then do the mock exam package on that. So, you know, it depends on how much time you have, and it depends on how you want to study. So does that make sense? But okay, so for most of you, you are taking the board exam in May, so it's now April 3rd. So you have about a month and 2 weeks to study, okay? That is enough time. But what I want you all to do is I want you to go back at the lectures first and simply listen, because I do talk about the lectures and then I go through questions. So let's say you're going through the video on, let's just pick the unmet human needs. Let's say you are listening to that and saying, oh, okay, well, that all makes a lot of sense, actually. You know, the way she's talking about it makes a lot more sense. But then move back to your PowerPoint, read through that again, and then do the mock exam package. I believe there's questions in this one too. Yes. So the mock exam package, oh, whoops, I don't think you guys can see my screen, sorry, because I moved it away. There are mock exam package questions in some of the PowerPoints, so they don't always have to be a separate file. They could be inside the PowerPoints here. So I have questions, I'm just kind of looking where it starts. I have a lot of questions. So see, it says questions. So, you know, I do ask multiple choice mock exam questions. So if you do a good job on the questions and answers, then you know that you are able to move on again to something else. So let me find my screen again. I have so many things open, so many things all the time. There we go. There we go. So then you know to move on to a different topic. So let's say you want to just look at some mock exam and case studies. Click on the video. It's about 1 hour and 10 minutes. Listen to that first and then look at the PowerPoint and then study that. So it depends on how quick you study. But if you have, let's just say, a month and a little bit left, You do have time for all of this, but you do have to hustle. So this one was the mock exam and case studies, where I do talk about, you know, different topics. So there's tons of stuff in there. So you would never say to me, Andrea, there's not enough to study. You know, like there's nothing here. You would not say that, because there's tons of stuff here. It's just you have to know where to start. So does that make sense? So what I want everybody to do is to start with the lectures first. For 2017, they're all right there. And then 2016, there's tons. Listen to all of them. It is a lot easier to listen to something and then than it is to read, and then say, okay, what do I know? But everybody's different. Some people prefer to read, and then watch a video or two afterwards. That's why I have a little bit of everything, because students all study differently. But the best thing is that if you have questions, ask me. I am so happy to help, trust me. And now I pretty much work from home, so I have more time to help. Whereas a month ago, I was working at the dental office sometimes 2 times a week and sometimes 4, so I didn't always have the time. So you would email me and I might answer you back in a day or 2, but now, since I'm always home, it will take maybe 4 hours for me to answer you. That's it, because I am home, right? This is what I do. I am so happy to help students, especially since a lot of you are taking the board exam in a month. That's not a lot of time, but it is enough time to study. Not this term, but I had a student sign up for the board exam prep academy course with me 2 weeks before she took the board exam. I was honest, and I said to her, that's not enough time. No. But if you want to study hard, it is possible to go through everything in 2 weeks. But I said, start with the videos and then the mock exam packages, because 2 weeks isn't a lot of time. Start there first, so you at least know what you may have to focus on. So she watched all of the videos first, and then she said she went through the mock exam packages, and some of the packages she said were easy. She's like, I knew that I didn't have to look at certain topics because I knew all of the answers, which was awesome. But then some of the mock exam packages, she said that she was like, I didn't know, you know, half the answers. So I knew to move back to the modules here and look at that topic and spend my time studying that. So does that make sense? So everybody studies a little bit differently, but you do have time to go through everything. Just make sure to hustle. So if you have any questions, let me know. There are a lot of things to study, but it's possible. Study for 6 hours a day maximum, minimum 2 hours a day, okay? I prefer 6 hours a day because there's a lot here, especially if you're taking the board exam in a month. Because all of these topics, I'm being honest, you have to know. The one thing though, I do have to say, the topic on ortho is not that finicky. Read through, of course, what I have here. But is it something that you have to spend 6 hours on? I don't think so. Know your classes of occlusion. Know why you would say ortho is a good idea to somebody. Know the interdental aids, which I do have in here as well. I'll show you guys. You know, quickly read through those 2 PowerPoints that I do have on ortho, but then that's it. That's all you have to know. Don't waste your time. They don't ask a lot about ortho on the board exam. I'm not saying they never will, but typically they don't. So does that make sense? Another good example of something that you actually have to make sure to study is community. Study that sucker like crazy. I have lots of PowerPoints for you. I have a video. This video I see needs to be uploaded again. I will look into that one. Whoopsies. I will look into that one. But I have lots here in mock exam packages to test your knowledge on indices, because indices is something you have to know for the board exam for sure. It's not exciting, I know, but it's something you have to know. So, okay, you guys, I hope that helped. If you have any questions, please let me know. And make sure to study 6 hours a day, but also make sure to get enough sleep, please. And if you need help, please just let me know, because this is what I do, okay? Is I make sure students pass the board exam the first time so you don't have to spend the money again, and to make studying a little more exciting, a little bit. I know it's not exciting, but I try to make it a little bit more exciting and manageable for you. So any questions, please just let me know anytime, and I will see you guys all in the next video.